Hello, my name is Kaden Kirtley, and I'm an Information Services Librarian at the Southwest Oklahoma City Public Library here in Central Oklahoma. I'll share my screen now. All right, so like I said, we're here in Central Oklahoma. Pioneer covers 3 counties. We cover Cleveland, McLean, and Potawatomi counties. And we have reentry taking place in each of those counties. So in Cleveland County, we partner with the Cleveland County Detention Center, which is a county jail. In McLean County, we're partnering with the Lexington Assessment and Reception Center. That's a state prison facility, and so that's one where every male person who goes through the Oklahoma state system goes through Lexington. And so we're partnering with the minimum security facility there. And then in Potawatomi County, we are partnering with the Central Oklahoma Juvenile Center. And so typically those are 15 to 17-year-olds, although that age range is a little bit wider. But we typically partner with about 15 to 17-year-old students with that outreach. The timeline for what our reentry outreach has been, starting in December of 2019, we started working with Cleveland County on this thing called the Reset Pod. It was kind of a novel approach by them to have this pod with people who were wanting to get more resources, and kind of just having a programming block go through that pod with the people living there, getting to go through all that together. So we started that in December 2019. We would do theme activities, we would do book discussions, we would do job skills, and we'd do life skills, and those would rotate on a weekly basis. And so we did those for a few months, and then the COVID-19 pandemic hit and the facility shut down. So from March 2020 to October 2021, we weren't able to do any outreach. We were having conversations with not only Cleveland County, but also with other justice centers within our system, entering up partnerships with Kojak and LARC. And so that Kojak outreach began in November 2021. We started doing a monthly outreach. We started with the Thanksgiving program and then a Christmas program as well. And then I believe in March of 2022 is when we started doing we are here every single month, kind of rotating through those same topics we worked with the Reset Pod on. May 2022, we began partnering with Lexington, and then hopefully here in about a week or so, we'll restart partnership with the Cleveland County Detention Center. It took them a long time to kind of ramp back up after COVID. They've just begun doing programming in the last month or two. So we've been trying to get staff in place to be able to start doing a weekly outreach with them as well. And so depending on what facility we're working with, we kind of create the content to go with that. And so at the Juvenile Center, we focus kind of on that more kind of rounded approach of having those STEAM skills, life skills, and job skills all on a rotating basis. And with that being a monthly outreach, we actually do a book discussion with them each month. So the first hour is book discussion, and then the second hour is when that rotation comes in. We've kind of moved away from that strategy with the Cleveland County Detention Center and focus more on job skills specifically. And so we have a curriculum where we go every week, and it's assessments one week, resumes another week, job search strategies, interview strategies, life skills of things that you need to be able to keep that job. And so transportation, childcare, kind of learning some of these budgeting tips, time management tips, so that we're setting people up to succeed when they do find those jobs. And then with the Lexington outreach, it's kind of a hybrid where we focus more on that re-entry side of things with the job skills, but we also try to bring in, have more of a book discussion, more of a kind of broader vision of what re-entering looks like. While with the Cleveland County, we focus really a lot on that job search strategies. In addition to the programming we're doing at these facilities, there's some other ways that we've been trying to provide resources for the justice involved population. One is having reentry employment specialists on staff. So 2 of our staff members have been certified as RES specialists. One of them is now an RES trainer. Those staff members are kind of in some of our more urban branches as well, so that they're able to kind of work with people who are just kind of getting out of those situations and help connect them to other resources in our community. And so I'm going to skip real quick to this 3rd bullet point, which is partnering with other community organizations. And so we have a really close relationship with a lot of other organizations doing this work, so we can provide wraparound services to those community members as they're reentering and trying to figure out how to make ends meet. We've got a lot of good relationships with people providing job placement, have job skills training to show, okay, this is how you here are these certain skills that jobs are looking for. We can train you on those. And so try to find ways to kind of fill in that role where the library is really acting as a connector. What we're really focusing on is building those bridges from prison to these different organizations that can really help set people up for success. And then transition fairs are kind of reentry fairs, so people who are getting close to release, getting to kind of learn what resources exist to help with that reentry. We've been going to those that are in our area to try to help provide information of this is what our library does, this is what libraries in general do if you're not coming back into this service area. And we've had a lot of good conversations come through that, and a lot of good opportunities to just kind of share what libraries are doing and kind of be on books, have discussions with people who haven't really had a chance to interact with us in that way. So that's all I've got as far as what we've been doing. We're really excited about the opportunities we have to go into the justice centers and program through that, to assist people when they get out and try to connect them, and then just playing a part in being part of that conversation, have people talk about it, have dialogue about what it looks like for justice involved individuals finding jobs and just re-entering into society in a state where we have a ton of people who have been justice involved. And we're all celebrating because we moved from #1 in incarceration rate to #3. So small victories are still victories, but we still have a lot of work to do. And at Pioneer, we've been really excited to get to be kind of on the forefront of that conversation, both in doing the work and talking about the issue on a larger scale. So I think that's all I've got today. Thank you.